Hey everyone, this is crazy. On my to do list for the week, I did not have starting a podcast on it, but welcome to episode one of Working on It. Why did I decide to start this? Let's start there. Well, who am I? My name is Gianna, and I am in my 20s, kind of figuring out life as it comes. I think that a couple years ago, I had a certain vision for how my life was going to go, and it's crazy the way your 20s will just kind of turn you right on your side at any unexpected moment. So here I am working on it, figuring it out. And I think that this is a feeling that's more relatable than we think. I think that I have found myself watching podcasts and listening to podcasts more and more. And the ones that I find that I connect with the most are the ones that are just authentic and people can be relatable and you can really find a connection with those people. So I figured, why not share my story, share my life, share my mindset to anybody who it may help. So that's my quick little intro. That's who I am. And I live in Tampa, Florida. I love it here. It's a very big wellness community, which is me through and through. And I recently was let go from my job, which I think was a really big catalyst in me starting to do more things like this. I think there's a lot of things with my life that I wanted to do, a lot of little seeds that I had sprinkled around that I just didn't have the time or capacity to water. And I'm here to tell you that in your 20s, it is so, so important to take an ounce of that energy and an ounce of that capacity. If you ever have a feeling that you want to do something or build something or go somewhere, now is the time to do it because nothing is really giving you the type of security that you can give yourself. Not a job, not a person, nothing. And what better time than in your 20s to go and explore that before you are, maybe older and don't have that same type of freedom, whether it's family, whether it's a different type of career, children. There are so many things that keep us tied down as the years go on. So I can only emphasize the importance of really taking advantage of the freedom of your 20s. But with all of that being said, for my very first episode, I kind of want to walk through the past couple of weeks and how that has been going for me. Like I said, I very unexpectedly was let go from my job. And I don't want to speak too much on the job situation just because I'm holding a lot of grace and respect for the brand that I was working with and the people that built the brand. I want to leave that same love for them there. However, on a personal and business end, this was something extremely sudden and extremely unexpected. This was something that I sort of pictured as my dream job. And when I started working for them, I thought I had it all figured out. I'm 28 and I was like, oh, Saturn return, like it's gotten nothing on me. I already figured it out. I think my Saturn return already passed. Little did I know it had just begun. And I don't know if you're into astrology or Saturn returns or things like that. I am like a very small amount. But what I do know about them is that they kind of flop you on your back and they bring on a lot of unexpected things where you're kind of forced into creating and living a life where it is more authentic to you, it is more aligned. And I can say with my whole chest that I feel like that is exactly what is happening. So, I started a little series on TikTok as well called Rebuilding My Life at 28. And I want to kind of talk through some of the things that I've been doing the past couple of weeks while trying to rebuild something because a lot of people were like, oh, are you job searching? Can I send you jobs? Can I recommend you? And I just have this little voice in the back of my head that is telling me, I'm done. I'm done putting so much time and energy and effort and capacity into other jobs, other businesses, other people, other brands. And I'm not just speaking to my most recent job, I'm speaking to almost every job that I've had because at the end of the day, it's not mine. I've always craved that feeling of building something that was mine. And I think in my head, when I got this job, it complemented my life and my goals very much. So I kind of thought it would be aligned in a way where I could build up the business, I could build up the brand while simultaneously building myself up. And the reality of that is that I had this job for 4 months and I was pouring so much of myself into this job that I didn't have the time or capacity to even. I can't tell you one time that I sat down and grew something for myself in the time working for this brand, besides being consistent with social media and having the brand kind of connect to my social media. Other than that, I didn't build anything tangible for myself. And I think that that's something super, super important. Unless you're the type of person that has one of those more traditional careers, I'm just not. School was never my thing. I never had a clear path with what I wanted to do with my life, which is why it was so important for me to start building something of my own. So, with all of that, week one, I had this little motivation in the back of my head. I like to theme my weeks, and I like to also check in on TikTok to kind of keep my journey on there as well. My theme for week one was some doors only open from the inside. And to me, that meant that yes, one door closes, another one opens, but some doors only open from the inside. And sometimes those opportunities are within you. Sometimes you have to create those opportunities, and sometimes you have to go and chase those opportunities, whether it's answering an email or signing a brand deal, or you've always wanted to do social media. So now you have to go and actually post the post and do the thing. So sometimes that challenge of finding what we want is just within us. And I think that we have stronger gut feelings than we like to give ourselves credit for. I think that a lot of those dreams and those ideas, we think of them, they're in there, but we don't always believe that we have the capacity to pour into them. So that was kind of my week one journey, was figuring out, okay, which doors am I able to build myself? And for me, that was building up my social media, being consistent with that. I have a goal of getting into TikTok Shop. I'm in it on my personal account, but I'm trying to grow an additional account to get into TikTok Shop because I know so many people that do really well and make a lot of money there. So that's been something that I've consistently been starting to take some time towards, and just practicing those TikTok Shop style videos just to get the skill and build it so that once I'm in there, we're going to be ready to go. Other than that, I've had some UGC deals. So brands that have reached out to me since I post online, they've seen my content. They know that I can create quality content. So they have actually reached out to me, and I've turned these into paid opportunities just by asking. And it's been awesome, but so many of them I kept on the back burner. So many times I left emails ghosted, or I didn't sign contracts, or I just didn't create the content because I felt tired. I felt like my plate was already so full and I was spread so thin. So last week I got organized with UGC deals, and actually last night I handed in my biggest UGC deal yet. It was a deal, I'll be financially transparent. It was a deal for $1,200 plus a whole bunch of product. Actually, my entire bed set that is sitting behind me. So that was super cool, and I didn't need to do any crazy revisions or anything. So that was very validating as well, and something that I could have finished months ago. And all it took me was a couple of days to actually sit down, dial in, and get it done. So UGC is another thing that I'm pouring into. I'm also pouring into building my health coaching business. This is another thing that I have wanted to do for years. And I didn't even know that a health coach was actually a thing. In my head, it was a concept, but I didn't know that it was an actual career with a certification that people can go through and get. So I've wanted to do this. I've talked about it. I've thought about it. I've researched all of the certifications and what you need and I've looked at all of it. And if you don't know what health coaching is, it's similar to life coaching, career coaching, but it's health focused. So I will be able to help anyone with things regarding their lifestyle and building up habits to really maximize their days in regards to their health. I can lightly touch on nutrition. I have a gut health certification that I got back during COVID, so I can help with some gut health things, and connecting the brain to the body is huge for me. We don't realize how connected they truly are. So I'm really excited to start pouring into that. I built out my questionnaire, my intake form, and I'll be able to start taking on clients very soon for one-on-one coaching. So that was kind of week one, was building my doors and knowing that they're just going to have to open from the inside. And those are the types of opportunities that I'm looking for. It's going to take a lot in me to remake my resume and actually apply to jobs, but I can put my ego down enough to know that that may be something that has to happen. So moving on to week two, my theme of the week, my motivation for the week has been you fall to the level of your systems. And you may have heard this in the book Atomic Habits. You may have heard this before. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And I'm the type of person that I go into functional freeze. I will have a to-do list that is 3 pages long, 40 items deep, and I will get through my day and not know if I completed a single one of those things. I'll know that I was moving. I'll know that I was busy. I'm really good at productive procrastination as well, which is when you basically put off the important tasks by keeping yourself busy. For example, doing laundry. Like, you're moving, you're being productive technically, but are you moving the needle? So that is another thing that I have raised some self-awareness around. I can accept, but my goal here isn't to just put myself down over it. It's to finish my day knowing that I have actually moved the needle. And so these systems that I've created, I call this my bare minimum day. And this is something that may help you too if you find yourself in that same loop where you're like, I don't know what I actually completed throughout my day. Or if you just have goals, or if you get overwhelmed by your goals, create something that you call your bare minimum day. And what this is a couple of things, whether it's regarding your health, just a couple of things that at the end of the day, if you can check all 4 of those boxes, you can feel accomplished. You're going to want to exceed that, but if you just complete those bare minimum tasks, you can go to sleep at night knowing that you had a productive day. So for me, that's journaling. It doesn't matter what time of day, 5 to 10 minutes of journaling. Being with myself, mindfulness, being off of my phone. It's also a form of movement. And you don't want to put too much pressure on these items. So you don't want to be like, I want to run 3 miles a day, or I want to take 2 solid core classes every single day. You don't want to put too much pressure. That's not the goal here. The goal is the bare minimum. So for movement, I either have a walk. I don't even say how long, because it can be 10 minutes. And if that's what I have, if that's the energy that I have for the day, I'm going to be proud of that. Or it can be a hot Pilates class, a solid core class, and a lift and a walk. The point is just that I complete some form of intentional movement. Other than that, it's a 10 to 15 minute tidy. That's my 3rd item in my bare minimum day. And that's that my space is staying clean, because when your space is clean, you are just going to feel so much better. You're going to be in the mindset to be productive. And another thing I've been emphasizing this year is creating an environment that embodies the person that I want to become. So that means I always call my decor theme saltine cracker, because I'm so boring. I'm so bland when it comes to my own decor in my apartment. So I'm trying to spice things up. I just got new bedding, as we talked about, with a brand deal. So this, I mean, it looks crazy right now. That's a crazy angle, but it's giving hotel. It's gorgeous. It's stunning. And I'm so, so grateful that I got to work with a brand to also help me complete that goal of escaping the saltine cracker decor. But it also means bringing some plants in, or if I need new kitchen counter stools, or anything, a new rug, new throw pillows, new blanket, like something to just spice up the space that's going to help me really embody the person that I'm trying to become. So I just went off on a tangent, but that is part of my 3rd item. So first item, we have journaling. Second, we have movement. 3rd item, we've got a tidying my apartment. 15 minutes, whatever it needs to be, just something short. It can be folding laundry. It could be putting on the laundry and not holding myself to folding it, because laundry is the task that I always put off. But just some form of tidying the space, the counter. You get the idea. And then the final thing is to do a 1-hour work block. And ideally, I would do more than this, but with someone who has ADHD tendencies, as someone who is prone to productive procrastination, if I can just get myself to sit down for 20 minutes and put my phone on a timer where I know not to touch it unless it's for work, it's going to turn into like 3 hours of me actually locked in being productive. But sometimes when you see a 4-hour work block in your calendar, your brain wants to find every reason not to do that. And that's when you go into those productive procrastination loops. So if you just promise yourself a 1-hour work block, and that's your bare minimum, and at the end of the day, you still get to say that you at the very least did that, you're going to realize that you're finishing your days feeling so much more accomplished. And if I don't complete one of these things, I like to reflect on why. So far, I haven't, because I just created this bare minimum concept this week. So far, we're good. However, if there is a day where I don't complete one of these things, I really do want to reflect on what happened. Was I not feeling well? Did I not get enough sleep? Did something happen? Did something unexpected come up? And then I like to reflect on it. Don't put yourself down over it. You don't even have to write it down. You don't have to go crazy, but just a moment of reflection on, okay, what happened and why. I am traveling later this week, so I already know this is going to become even more challenging. And I'm planning on kind of getting ahead for some things. That's going to be my block for tomorrow. My work block is going to be planning ahead, batching some content so that I can keep the ball moving while I'm traveling. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to discuss today. I want to bring you on this journey because there is no path to what I'm doing. I have to build the path, I have to create it. And I also think that with careers these days, so many people are just having to pave their own path. There's less and less people taking very traditional routes, and even those traditional routes, with the way that jobs are nowadays, the way that businesses are, the way that technology is, there are so many different paths to doing so many different things. And I think that something that helps us all kind of get through those things is finding people that we can relate to. So if you find this, if you listen to this, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining me. Working on It podcast. Go and follow me on socials. My @ on everything is Gianna Eva Sims. I'll tag it in this if I can figure out how this. I am new here. I don't know how to do this, but follow along. I'm going to be checking in ideally weekly, but I might check in more than that because I'm a deep thinker, I'm a deep talker, and I like to have deep conversations with people. I do fear I am the friend in the bar that is talking to you about your childhood trauma and how we're going to fix it. So I think that's also why a podcast is going to be a really fun and really uplifting and really enjoyable space for me. I'm going to enjoy connecting with people, anyone who listens to this. So anyways, go and create your bare minimum week. That's going to be your task because I can't tell you how much it has already helped me this week. I mean, here I am recording a podcast episode. Like I said, this was not on my to-do list in the beginning of the week, and here I am. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.